Welcome to the Smart Keys podcast. Um, right now, there is actually a staggering probability, like some estimates place it near 90%, that your company is paying for multiple duplicate software subscriptions.
Oh, easily.
Right.
Yeah.
And simply because your team's digital files and operational hubs are so fragmented that, well, nobody actually knows what tools are already available.
Exactly. People just buy a new tool because they can't find the old one.
We're losing hours of our week to the sheer chaos of our own hard drives and cloud networks. So the source material for this deep dive is a comprehensive article by Felix Römer from smartkeys.org. It's titled 5S, Your Digital Workspace.
It's a really fantastic piece.
It is. And our mission today is to distill those insights into a practical resource for you, the listener, to help you turn all that digital clutter into a streamlined, highly efficient environment.
The urgency of this, it really can't be overstated. Like, we have rapidly adopted these incredible collaborative technologies over the last decade, but our behavioral systems just haven't kept pace.
Yeah, the rules haven't caught up.
Right. We essentially took the physical filing cabinet and blew it up across the cloud without establishing any new rules of engagement.
I always picture the modern business landscape like a massive, cavernous, physical garage. Inside this garage, you have like 50 different toolboxes.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
You've got your email toolbox, your cloud drive toolbox, your messaging app, maybe a completely separate server for legal. And when you're standing there on a tight deadline and you need one specific wrench, let's say a Q3 marketing brief, you have absolutely no idea which toolbox it's in.
You're just guessing.
You're just ripping open drawers, your stress levels are spiking, and you are literally bleeding billable time.
Yeah, and Felix Römer identifies that exact scenario as tool sprawl. It's the fragmentation of our attention. And what makes his proposed solution so compelling is that he doesn't advocate for buying a 51st toolbox to organize the other 50.
Thank goodness, because nobody wants another app to manage.
No, exactly. Instead, he turns to a methodology developed in the 1950s for physical manufacturing. We're talking about the 5S methodology, which is a core component of the Toyota production system.
Wait, really? We're taking physical car manufacturing principles like heavy machinery and assembly lines and applying them to a remote worker clicking through Google Drive.
I know, it sounds a bit wild.
How does that bridge actually cross over?
Well, exactly what Toyota was fighting on the assembly line was a concept called muda, or waste. In a physical factory, muda is glaringly obvious. You know, it's excess inventory resting on a shelf.
Right.
Or it's a worker having to walk 50 unnecessary steps just to grab a drill, which delays the car rolling off the line by 3 minutes. The 5S system, which stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain, was designed to ruthlessly eliminate that physical waste.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, the article bridges this beautifully by pointing out that spending 20 minutes hunting for a SharePoint link is the modern equivalent of walking those 50 extra steps.
It's digital muda.
Exactly. It's invisible, but it carries a massive financial cost.
Okay, so we're dealing with invisible waste that quietly drains team velocity. Since we recognize this is happening, I feel like the immediate impulse is to just start mass deleting things. Which brings us to the first principle, right?
Sort. That's the one.
The article suggests auditing files, emails, and apps by looking at their volume and when they were last modified. But honestly, sorting sounds great, but how do we decide what to delete without panicking that we're tossing out something crucial?
It's terrifying for a lot of people.
As a professional, I suffer from intense digital hoarding because of loss aversion. I'm always thinking, what if legal audits us and needs this draft from 4 years ago? How do we sort without the paralysis of potential regret?
And that psychological barrier loss aversion is the primary reason digital workspaces become landfills. We assume keeping a file costs nothing because, while cloud storage is relatively cheap.
Right, it's just a few cents a gigabyte.
Exactly. But the methodology introduces a critical safety net specifically to bypass that emotional friction. It's called the red tag concept. When you encounter an asset during your audit that you are unsure about, you do not delete it. You attach a digital red tag.
I'm skeptical. Isn't creating a digital holding area just taking the junk from your desk and shoving it into a junk drawer? I mean, it feels like we're just moving the mess to a different zip code.
It becomes a junk drawer if it lacks metadata, which is where the red tag protocol completely differs from just a generic archive folder. A proper digital red tag requires you to append specific information to the file or folder.
Like what kind of information?
Things like who tagged it, the rationale for why it might be obsolete, and a strict review date. You move these items into a holding zone structured chronologically by month to avoid premature deletion.
Ah, okay, so it's an active quarantine, not a passive graveyard.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. It separates the wheat from the chaff without triggering your loss aversion. You let the asset sit in quarantine. If, say, 6 months pass and no cross-functional team has requested that file, the data proves your fear was unfounded.
Wow, so the decision makes itself.
Exactly. The expiration date hits, and the deletion becomes an objective procedural step rather than an anxiety-inducing subjective decision. Meanwhile, you consolidate duplicates and archive completed projects.
Okay, let's follow that thread. We've survived the purge. The quarantine is active. But the moment we stop sorting, the system is just going to start decaying again unless we change how we structure what's left. Which takes us to the second step. Set in order.
Right. And creating predictability is the goal here.
I like to compare setting in order to a well-designed kitchen. You group ingredients by the meal you're cooking, not by the store you bought them from, right? You want everything you need for that specific task right in front of you.
That is a spot-on analogy. Römer details a very strict rule in the text. We must define areas by function or topic, not by application.
Because we naturally tend to group all our spreadsheets in one folder and our presentation decks in another.
Which is a critical flaw. You have to design digital spaces around the workflow. The text advocates for unified topic hubs. If you are launching a new product, there should be a single designated environment where the strategic briefs, the graphical assets, and the final approvals all live together.
Grouped logically.
Yes, it drastically reduces decision fatigue. A team member doesn't have to remember where a specific format is stored. They only need to know what project they're working on.
That makes intuitive sense for navigation. But what about the actual files themselves?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've opened a project hub and found files named brief final v2, and brief use this one.
Oh, it's a total nightmare.
It really is.
The naming convention is where teams either sink or swim. The article prescribes a rigid, standardized format. It should be project or client name, followed by the document type, then the date, and ending with the owner's initials.
And the date format is super specific, right? It's year, month, day, YYYMMDD.
Yes, and that is crucial.
I want to highlight that because it's so much more than just a stylistic choice. If you use the standard American date format, starting with the month, your computer's operating system will sort all the January files from 2021 right next to the January files from 2026.
Which completely breaks the chronological timeline.
Exactly.
By formatting the year first, you are leveraging the machine's native sorting logic. The computer automatically arrays everything in perfect chronological sequence without requiring any complex database management.
It's a tiny tweak, but it instantly organizes decades of work.
And the text also highlights the use of visual cues. Adding a simple colored emoji prefix to a folder, named like a green check mark for completed phases, allows you to understand the status of a hub in milliseconds.
Or keeping key assets one click away by using Cloud Tool favorites.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. Getting organized is one thing, but keeping it that way requires a fundamental shift in daily habits.
Yeah.
We're moving from the initial cleanup to long-term maintenance, which is step 3, shine.
Right. Digital hygiene.
And I'll frame this not just as cleaning, but as preventative maintenance. Things like clearing caches, removing outdated drafts, patching software for security, and running weekly tidy-ups of download folders. But honestly, is clearing my downloads folder really moving the needle?
It absolutely connects directly to team performance. A clean environment prevents slowdowns. Technologically, digital bloat degrades performance. When your search tool has to crawl through terabytes of unstructured data, API requests take longer.
So it physically slows down the tech.
Yes, and psychologically, the mental tax of visual clutter depletes cognitive resources. The article frames shine as setting recurring calendar events for microchores so you can actually focus on high-value tasks.
Okay, I buy the ROI on preventative maintenance, but if I'm managing a team, how do I scale these habits? I can't manually police 50 different employees.
And you shouldn't try to. That's the fourth step, standardize, making it repeatable. You have to remove the guesswork.
So we write a massive rulebook.
No, short SOP, standard operating procedures, templates, and checklists. True standardization means making the correct way the absolute easiest way.
So you enforce the rules through the architecture itself.
Exactly. The text emphasizes standardizing page layouts for topic hubs. So your tools, support articles, and contact owners are always in the same exact spot.
That makes a lot of sense. If I jump into an unfamiliar department's hub, I instinctively know the project brief is in the top right corner. It really cuts down on handoffs and retrieval time.
It's a huge time saver.
But even with perfect templates, human nature is stubborn. People will bypass them. How do we ensure this survives daily stress?
That brings us to the final S, sustain. And this is really about the culture shift. Sustaining a 5S system is not about software. It relies on training champions within the organization.
You just give someone a badge and hope people listen.
Well, you have to capture stakeholder feedback to ensure the new structures aren't creating bottlenecks. But mostly, you need to publicly celebrate quick wins to build pride and accountability.
So what does this all mean? With the 5S system fully outlined, how does this framework actually move the needle for a business? How can individuals and businesses measure the actual value of this lean approach?
It's a great question. The expert breaks down specific KPIs mentioned in the source. You have to track retrieval time, the time between asking for a file and getting it.
Right.
You track file-related error rates, like working off the wrong version, and you track cycle times for common tasks.
Measuring human time, essentially.
Yes. Mapping this out not only improves collaboration, but actually cuts costs. It allows businesses to identify and remove redundant software tools. If you realize you're paying for 3 different project management apps across siloed departments, 5S gives you the visibility to consolidate.
Which drops straight to the bottom line. That is a massive advantage for you, the listener, in any professional setting. Management will instantly see the value when cleaner structures are directly linked to these measurable goals.
Absolutely. It frames organizational hygiene as a core pillar of operational strategy.
So before we wrap up this deep dive, let's pivot from high-level metrics to the immediate practical steps you can take today. And the advice here is to start small. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Please don't. Attempting a massive overhaul without buy-in is a recipe for failure.
Pick one high-volume folder or a single cross-functional project and run a mini audit using just the sort and set and order principles. Deploy those red tags. Purge the obvious duplicates.
And those small, repeatable steps scale up over time. Using project management platforms like Asana or Trello or collaboration suites like Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace, combined with clear naming rules that will ultimately turn these small wins into lasting organizational success.
A chaotic desk is still chaotic, even if it's digital. And I want to leave you with a final forward-looking question to ponder. As AI becomes more integrated into our workspaces, it's going to need clean data, right?
Oh, desperately. The velocity of that integration is staggering.
Could the foundation we build today with this 5S methodology soon allow artificial intelligence to autonomously sort, shine, and organize our files based on these exact rules?
You're basically building the track before the high-speed train arrives. It's a phenomenal strategic angle.
By organizing our files today, are we just training our future AI assistants how to think? Something to mull over. Well, thank you for tuning in to the Smart Keys podcast.
Thanks for having me.
If you want to stay ahead of the curve, make sure you subscribe to the podcast. And be sure to read the full article by Felix Römer. The link to the original article can be found right in the show notes. Go check it out, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.